Hey everybody, I'm pleased to bring you another adventure in tent setups. This time with the largest recreational tent I've ever experienced. Stick around and you'll see if one person can set this up. Ready? Let's get to it. Alright, I'm heading up to set up the biggest tent I've ever used. And it's huge! So my brother is having a big event held on his property. It's in a beautiful valley in Vernon County. A spring-fed creek meanders through the valley. It's about 100 acres in total. It's lush, forested, and there are some challenges for tent camping. Okay, let's evaluate this site. So for sleeping, you gotta find the flattest spot possible. It's kind of hard to tell how much of this is flat. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and mow. So I laid out a long tarp just to lay out all the different pieces of the tent. Lugging this 45-pound tent gave me a bit of a surprise as I threw it off my shoulder. It darn near took my shoulder with it.
Ouch, my shoulder.
Be careful. So it's called a super tent because you can pitch another tent inside. It comes with one interior tent that sleeps 5 adults. The doors can serve as awnings. I really like this. The outer tent has no floor, so you can walk into this sort of pavilion area without tracking in dirt. The sleeping tent does have a floor. But this outer shell is absolutely enormous. And this particular model, this is the medium. There's one even larger. So getting it all unfolded and laid out and ready to accept the tent poles. So those go in just fine. You just have to make sure there are no loose or unbridged poles within each telescopic section. So each end of the tent pole has a nubbin that's inserted into a grommet, essentially pinning the tent pole into an arch. With all the arches aligned in the same direction, starting on one end, you start to erect the tent. Now, in order for one person to do this by themselves, you really have to pin one end of the tent with one stake and a guy line so that as you erect the arches, they don't just collapse the other way. Ask me how I know. With one end pinned down, a guy line established with a stake, and then erecting each arch. When you get to the opposite side, if you can stake down a corner and guy it out, you'll have a basic standing tent. Now you have to tweak the arches to spread them out, but you can begin getting a sense of what the space is going to be like. You can do all manner of recreating within the shell, playing games, eating, preparing food, just getting away from sun or rain. And it's very flexible. All of those doors have screens, a huge tent with a lot of versatility. I was really impressed by how easy it was to set up the inner tent. There are suspension clips that hold the inner tent to the outer frame, and so it goes up in a matter of minutes. With an additional person, you'd have the opportunity to really pull the tent apart at the same time, kind of like an accordion, and that would maximize the tautness and really make it quite an easy setup. The last phase of setting up the tent is guying out these lines. And while that took a lot of time, it certainly added a lot of strength. Now, I was anticipating some rain before this tent was used, so I left it all buttoned up. But I'm gonna get a report on how it was to trick it out, what it was like to use over a multi-day event camping. And so if you'd like to see how it went, subscribe to learn more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.